we have a great story. Lori and Chuck have an amazing story about their daughter, Renee. Lori, thank you for coming on tonight. If you could start by giving us a little bit of background about your daughter.
Yes, Renee at birth was oxygen deprived. At about 2.5, she stopped talking, and she had seizures in each lobe of her brain. Later on, when she was 21, when she was 13, she went through 8 years of no seizures and then started again at 21. And her seizures were mainly staring seizures. They were not a grand mal or any of those types of things. Then when she was about 31, she began to walk slowly, which she was a 5K runner at that point. She started walking slowly behind us, which was very unusual, and then did some stumbling. We took her to a neurologist. Finally, we went to UCLA to see if they could figure her out and see what was going on. Their determination was that possibly she had Parkinson's. They gave her the diagnosis of atypical Parkinson's. She started her medication. She also began to have, in the latter years, about 4 years ago, problems with swallowing. And she went from being ambulatory to a walker to a wheelchair. And then she aspirated 4 months ago on her food and ended up in critical care, acute care, and now in subacute care. Aspirating pneumonia was the diagnosis. And what happened after that is we had a swallowing eval, and she got a G-tube, and then after being off the ventilator, she ended up with a trach. So she presently has a trach and has a G-tube. We got the StemFit, and then Dr. Chris had suggested that we start out with maybe 7 of the capsules to really boot up her nervous system. And we proceeded to do that. In the morning, she would get 3. In the afternoon, around 1, she would get 3 more, and then she would get 2 in the evening. So, and we started it on September 22nd, and by the 26th, she was walking.
Oh, my goodness. What did you see, though, in between the 22nd and the 26th? There were some changes, I believe, that you got to see in between her even getting up and walking. She
began deep breathing when she was sleeping. And was very rested, and then had much more energy, more stamina. Before that, she could stay up maybe an hour and a half, and then need to go back to bed. After that, she could stay more hours, and it kept building on that. And as far as with her legs, we saw lots of twitches, a lot of movement with her feet, and her legs kind of like shaking and just making movement. You know, you could see muscles doing something, nerves doing something.
Oh, and how did that make you and Chuck feel as parents?
Oh, well, she's always loved to walk, and to have her just lay in bed, you know, we just felt really, really sorry for her because she wasn't able to do anything that she had done early on in her life, and you know, it was sad to see her just lay there, and we worried very much about her motivation. You know, would she kind of just give up? Well, when she started walking with assistance, she, you know, you could see it in her face, and she would laugh. You know, she would make laughing sounds. So it was just like a miracle for us because we thought she might just day without walking the rest of her life. So we were thrilled. We were beyond thrilled, just feeling like, wow, this is a miracle.
And I know there were some issues about her not being able to gain any weight.
Right. She had difficulty gaining weight. Then she began, after the supplements, to gain about 3 pounds. And this week they measured her weight, and she gained 6 pounds this month. So we're ecstatic about that. I think she must be utilizing the nutrition in a different manner than she was before.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I understand now she's even looking at you more directly than she was before.
Yes. Before when she went through her pneumonia, she would look to the side. It looked like she was just looking at a light, looking or seeking to look at a light, and it was always to the left. And now she looks at us and looks at the TV and can move her eyes from one side to the other, which she was unable to do before. And then on October 2nd, she began moving both hands and arms. Before she could move one arm, but she always kept her thumb between her 2 fingers, and it was somewhat atrophied. And now she's moving her left hand, and I mean moving it clear up above her head. So, she might need some therapy to do, more fine motor things, but she is moving both of her arms. So we're really pleased with that. She has a stronger cough, which allows her then to have less secretions in her throat and into her lungs. Today, the doctor, the pulmonologist, we were frightful that she wouldn't be able to come home with us. But he told us that at the end of October, she can come on home. The product is helping me also because it's giving me energy to go and be with her each day. And I'm not tired, and I do sleep really well. And Chuck's sinuses are so much better that other people at work are noticing. So we've had our stories, too, although it's not as dramatic as hers. I'll tell you one tiny little story. I gave a nurse a bottle because she was complaining of lack of energy, and she asked me because she watched Rene, and she saw me, and so I gave it to her, and she used it for about 3 days, and she came back on shift yesterday, and she said, I think it must be in my head because this medicine couldn't have made me feel this energy that I'm feeling now. So I just said to her, well, wait a few more days and see if it's still there. But it was so comical.
Thank you so much.
You're very
welcome.
welcome.
Of my heart for sharing.